Justin Fields is the quarterback that we're talking about on QB1 with Crissy, Froyd. And Crissy, what do you expect from the Bears and Fields heading into this season?
Well, right now there's a lot of questions, unfortunately. And outside of Mooney, they don't have any real reliable wide receivers. This is a team that probably needs to dip into free agency and go get another standout wideout. And then just like the Dolphins had a really bad offensive line last year, and the offensive tackle battle is still ongoing and shaking out. So I think that there's a lack of depth on this team overall. And I think that they've got a lot of just training camp's going to be a really huge deal just to see how they continue to work through that. And really, I think that even their roster is not complete right now.
As you analyze Fields and what the future holds from him this upcoming season, you have to look at the draft like we always do on QB1. I mean, how would you analyze what Chicago did in the draft and how that'll ultimately affect Fields moving forward?
Yeah, very small amount of selections. And I think that what happens with them is going to lie more in their offseason acquisitions than what they were able to do in the draft. And when you look at Justin Fields, completed 59% of his passes last year for 1,870 yards with 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That's not a good ratio, but he was under pressure for quite a few of his dropbacks. And whenever you go and look at the numbers, the Pro Football Focus grades that they released whenever he was under pressure, it tells a very just telling story of how much pressure and bad offensive line play affects this quarterback. And unfortunately, it's going to take training camp for us to know just how much, if at all, that things are going to get better for Justin Fields.
Yeah. Is there still work to be done? I mean, do you get the sense that the offensive line will be improved? I mean, I know, like you said, it is going to be tough to tell until we can really kind of get a look at what's been done. But, is it your general sense that this could be maybe another rough year for him if the team hasn't, in fact, done enough to give him some of the protection and support that he needs to play better?
Yeah, we're going to have to look at those training camp battles. I mean, already have a rookie that's involved in the offensive tackle battle, which is really not a good sign whenever he's in there with the starters and is giving them a run for their money, unless he turns out to be really good, which is always a possibility. But just as far as the things that are not proven with the Bears, as far as the offensive line, the supporting cast, it's easy to be really nervous. And Justin Fields seems confident. His teammates are talking about just how confident he is, how much of a leader he's evolving into. But I think that's going to really have to shine through and be a big part of all their mentality that extends to all of them. Because right now, with this team just not answering all the question marks and how much that's going to remain to be seen just as we lead up to the fall and how many additions that they might have to make, I think that there's a lot of just reason to be uneasy here.
Crissy, you spend so much time with quarterbacks when they're in college and as they make this transition into the pro game. I imagine for a younger quarterback coming into the league, not only is there so much to learn and get the playbook under you and get those reps, that experience that you desperately need to survive in a league like this, but then to have an offensive line that lets you down, how much pressure is that on a young quarterback to be forced to execute in a less than ideal situation?
Yeah, I think it affects him mentally. I mean, I think that there was a certain point in time that he was seeing ghosts last year. I mean, how can you not whenever your tackles are not performing at a high level? And we do talk about the modern era of the NFL. It's what can you do for me today? And then especially when you have some of the rookies, like even though it was the years past with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert doing a good job, that kind of backs up this narrative that even though quarterbacks should probably sit for a while before they start, there's kind of this added pressure because someone has had success.
Great stuff on QB1 from Crissy, Froyd. Crissy, thanks.